Hi, it's Christian. I just want to send you this quick video to talk about something for which we've been receiving a lot of phone calls recently. It seems like almost monthly you can turn on the news and hear something, see something about an active shooter incident across the country. These acts are incredibly despicable, heart-wrenching, awful, and on all levels. But I wanted to talk today real quickly about your typical insurance coverages. So to kind of clear the air as to whether or not there is or isn't coverage under a standard business policy. So first of all, you've purchased a general liability policy. Unfortunately, that pays when there is resulting bodily injury or property damage to a third party for which you are legally liable. And in active shooter incidences, you're not legally liable, so the general liability policy would not pay. Another coverage that many people turn to is business income and extra expense coverage. That's actually a property coverage, so that if there's damage to your property, it pays your business the loss of income you would have normally received while you're out of business. Again, there has to be damage to your property damage. The other thing is it stops paying immediately when you're back in business. And many times after an active shooter incident, you may not be in business for months, for weeks, months, however long it takes to hire new people, get back on your feet, get your reputation back to where it was before a loss. So the business income and extra expense coverage does not provide any protection. Another coverage is workers' compensation. Now here you do have coverage for the employees. However, where it stops short is you don't have coverage for the counseling for victims. You don't have coverage for rehiring, retraining, all of those other instances. Okay. Another coverage people have been asking about is terrorism coverage. Well, the unfortunate thing about terrorism coverage is, number one, the incident has to be actually a certified act of terrorism by the United States Secretary of the Treasury and the Attorney General. And secondly, the act actually has to result in at least $5 million of combined property and casualty loss. Interestingly enough, since 9/11, there has been no acts of certified terrorism in the United States. So even the Boston massacre was not considered an act of terrorism under the definition of terrorism insurance. So what do you do? What's the solution here? So first and foremost, I would like to say that while we're in the insurance business, if you are interested in having someone come out and do some active shooter training for your staff, your employees, or doing a security assessment of your location, we do have people that I know of people who will do that. They're not employed by me, but I've had them do it here, and they'll be more than happy to come out. If you're interested, just let me know. Shoot me a quick email. From an insurance standpoint, there is coverage. It's brand new, and it is absolutely not offered by your typical insurance companies that you would think of. It is a specialty coverage. There are very few, I think there's only 2 at this point, insurance companies that are offering this coverage, and it is called active shooter insurance. And the coverage is kind of unique in that it does pay for those things that I just mentioned would not be covered by your typical policy. So, for example, it pays for all of the counseling, the cost to rehire, retrain, if you have to have security at your place of business following an incident, it would pay for that. It pays for your loss of income. And keep in mind, too, you could have an active shooter incident that's next door or something that still shuts down your business. The active shooter insurance, if you had it in place, would pay for that. It pays for funeral expenses. Unfortunately, it will pay for that. So there's some coverages available. Again, super brand new. I mean, this thing's only been out for a very short period of time. What I think will happen is over time, typically in insurance, is that once this is in the marketplace, we'll probably see 4 or 5, 10 years from now, we'll see most insurance companies offering this coverage. But unfortunately, it's going to take a long period of time for them to start offering it. So I just wanted to clear the air. If you're interested in a quote for active shooter insurance, or if you're interested in having someone come out and do an assessment and do some training, let us know. We're here to help, and thanks for listening. Take care.